Good afternoon YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a questions and answers video. 2 videos ago I said at the end of a video I was going to be doing a questions and answers and you guys left some comments. I also put a post out on Instagram asking you guys to send your questions in. I'm going to go through them right now and answer them for you. We're going to start with the YouTube questions and the first one is from Eric Schleyer and he has asked me, how is it actually living and riding with an e-bike? Like, how long does the battery last on an average ride? Can you swap the batteries if one goes flat? And do you notice the weight whilst riding around town? So let's start with the first bit, which was how is it living and riding an e-bike? It's fantastic. It's really good fun. Makes life a lot easier. I much prefer riding downhill, so it makes it easier to get to the top, so I can just bomb it back down the track. And it actually makes some of the tracks really good fun because you can actually, it's a challenge to ride uphill, you know. Some technical areas become rideable and it's really good fun. How long does the battery last on an average ride? Well, that would depend on the terrain. Like an average ride where I am now, there's a lot more uphill, so it'd use more battery than where I live, which is very flat. I guess if you just had it in the eco mode, you'd get more than enough time. You wouldn't have to worry about running out. Can you swap the batteries if one goes flat? Yes, you can swap the batteries if one goes flat, but they're quite heavy, so it'd be really big to carry around in your backpack. Do you notice the weight whilst riding around town? Not at all. Like, the weight on them bikes, I think, is placed so perfectly to work with the bike, and it makes the bike feel better and work really well, so I actually don't really notice the weight. Obviously if I was to go and do 360s and tail whips, yes, you would notice it, but just for the type of riding that it's made for, it actually makes the bike better in my opinion. That was a good question, Eric, thank you very much. And probably if you're looking at getting an e-bike or you're interested in them or just curious, and they're all probably questions that you're all wanting to have answered. Let's carry on flicking through. This is quite a commonly asked one. When did you start mountain biking? That's from Ollie Eriksson. And the answer to that is when I was probably about 10, I first got on a mountain bike. It's weird because my family was all into mountain biking, so we used to go on family bike rides, but I actually wasn't overly interested in it at the start. Then when I got to the age of 10, me and my brother started learning you could do jumps and tricks, so we followed that a little bit, but also not so much. And then when I left school, I got my first proper dirt jump bike, and from there onwards I've just been very passionate about it and very interested. Sapinva on YouTube has asked me, what is the verdict of your shoulder? Now this is a question that I've been asked quite often on Instagram as well. The verdict at the moment is that it's usable, it's very weak. I've had a lot of dislocations. Every time you dislocate it, it becomes more vulnerable to further dislocations. But like I say, I can use it, but I just have to be very, very careful. I'm snowboarding this week, being very careful. When I get home, I'm going to try get on the bike. I've got some strength back in it now, so I can use it. I've got movement back. It would just dislocate very easy if I do stupid stuff, and it's going to be like that, unfortunately, all the way through to when I have my surgery, which is in July, sort of July/August time. So it's usable. I just have to be very careful because it could easily dislocate again, and that is not what we want to happen. I've gone over to Instagram now, and I'm going to go through some of those questions. Dazahuradima has asked me, when will we see new tricks? When my shoulder's better. I guess after surgery and the recovery, it would be so cool to do a banging edit, wouldn't it? So I'd love to work on some new tricks for that. Just underscore Stewie underscore Griffin has asked me, what motivated you to start your YouTube channel? By the way, I love your content. This is a really good question because there's quite a few things that have motivated me to do my channel. The first one being that I love making videos. There's nothing better to me than going out for a day, planning something, gathering the clips, being stoked with what you've got, what you've sent, coming home, looking back through the footage, putting a video together and getting it online to you guys. I love doing that. I've always loved doing that. Even back in the day when you was making one edit a year, it was so rewarding to just get it online and get it out there. Another big reason for me is the motivation / inspiration side. I always looked up to magazines and videos and other riders when I was younger, and now I feel fortunate enough to be in that position that I can give back to you guys and hopefully motivate and inspire and help you out with tutorial things. Another reason as well is for sponsorships. It's very good. It's a good platform to have, so you can expose your sponsors and give them the coverage that they deserve for supporting us riders to do what we do. That was a really good question about starting the YouTube channel. Hopefully that answer will inspire you guys to go out there, make your own content and post your own videos. The next question's kind of similar. It's from Billy Squire 61, and he has asked me, how did you first work towards gaining recognition from sponsors for your riding? So kind of similar to the question I just answered, but it's a question that I get asked quite often, and I guess a lot of you young riders probably want to know. My advice to you now would be to do content, video content. It gives you a platform to advertise and promote your sponsors on. I would recommend entering events, firstly because it's a good way to go and gain footage for your channels, and also it's another way of representing them. But basically what you need to do is just find ways to promote these brands. Events are good, but sometimes if you're not winning or not on the top steps of the podium, you're not in the spotlight, so you're actually not getting much coverage for your sponsors. Whereas with social media, once you build up a relative following, people are always going to watch your stuff because they like what you're doing. So you always have a platform that you can go to these brands and say, hey look, if you give me a free helmet and some pads and some shoes, then I can show this many people every week, you know, because this many people watch my videos all the time. Whereas with an event you could go, yeah, well I did 5 contests, I finished 2nd in one of them and 10th in the others, but the report only covered the top 5 riders, so I didn't actually get you any exposure. So exposure is a key word there. Get out there, make some videos, take photos, gain yourself a following, and then sponsors will start coming to you. The next one is from Vincent D05, and he has asked me, what is your favourite trick to do on your bike? I actually have 3 favourites that really stand out from the others, and Cara, who's behind the camera, knows what they are.
I quite like your 720,
yeah,
the spinny.
Yeah, that's one of my favourites.
You've got your free whips.
Yeah, that's also another favourite.
And your flip whips.
Bang on the money. 720s, free whips and flip whips. In fact, I love them so much that we're going to cut to some clips that I filmed in the summer of me doing them tricks. They are my favourite tricks for sure. I love them. They're so much fun, and I can't wait to get back and do them on the e-bike. No, I'm joking. There's not going to be any of that happening. Cameron 250 has asked me, can you double flip? I actually could double flip, I think. I tried them in the foam pit for a while. I really wanted to do one, but the foam pit at Radical Bikes is tiny to spin such a trick. But I did give it a good go. I'll put some clips in now so you can see my progress. Maybe it's something we'll see in the future. Sam's got a big airbag, it could work perfectly on it.
Yes. Better.
GoYuki_81 has asked me, how did you and Cara get to know each other? We actually met at a show. I was performing in a stunt show near her house, and she followed me on Instagram. I slid into her DMs, and then we met up a few times, and then it just went from there. We got on really well, and yeah, here we are, nearly 2 years later now. Somehow she's put up with me for that long. Florank563 asked me, how are you? I'm actually very well today. It's sunny here, but it's a little bit cold. My fingers are starting to get a bit cold where I'm just holding the phone, but I'm well. I hope that you are doing good too. Gingerman1983 has said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are e-bikes? 10 for sure, and I'm not just saying that. They are such good fun. Go and try it and then you'll give it a 10 as well. I'm going to answer one more because I'm enjoying this. This is a good one. Matt.j.bain. Broken or dislocated anything else before? Touch wood, I've never actually broken any other bones. I've damaged a lot of the ligaments and really heavily sprained my right ankle a few times actually, but there was one time in particular that it was really bad. Dislocated my left shoulder, like I said in the last video, over 10 times now. This is absolutely shot to bits, this left shoulder, hence why I'm not riding as much at the moment because of a recent dislocation. Actual bones wise, I've not broken anything else or had any more dislocations. The only other injury I had, which was quite gnarly, was I fell down and hit the ground so hard that I tore my kidney and was in hospital for 4 days because I was bleeding internally, and I actually have the crash clip, so I'm going to play it to you right now.
Knock the wind out of me.
Pretty painful, even watching that back brings back some pretty sore memories. Makes me feel a bit sore, but that is the end of the video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for sending your questions in. I always love reading through them. I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer your ones. There was quite a few to sieve through, but I will do another video like this in the future if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.